What is up, bros? So in this video we got every little detail for clever tactics with RAM, updated more efficient grenade lineups, and even 5 new spawn peaks across multiple maps that you need to know about because they have a 10,000% chance of getting you a free kill. So sit back, enjoy, and if you have a trick that you want to share, then click the link in the description below and join my Discord server where we got a whole tricks tab, group finders, promote yourself tabs, and so much more. So if you decide to join, I'll see you over there. Up first is a rapid fire bunch of random tactics that you should know about for RAM. With the first being, if you hit someone while throwing it, the tank does do 5 damage, so a cool final kill cam is possible. You can use the weight of the tank to throw through any wooden barricades or doors for immediate entry. There are 3 ways to make holes in walls with the RAM tank. The first one is literally just having it on the floor and then detonating it, which is literally the default way of using the gadget. But there are 2 other cool ways that are worth mentioning. Both of these ways are going to allow you to create sprintable head height breaches, with the first being a shotgun pump inside of the wall and then placing the tank inside of it. The tank is then going to fall after you detonate it and destroy everything around it while it's falling for a huge hole. The other option is to crouch, look down, and then throw the tank. It'll then get stuck in the wall at a higher height for a breach, so that when you detonate it, it'll also destroy it on the way down, and you're going to be able to sprint through. So this next one is a funny way on how you can hot breach even faster with less noise. If you just place the Bugatti straight on top of the hatch, it makes a huge thud sound. You can hear the detonation, the whole process. It takes a long time. If, while running towards the hatch, you look straight up, you can then launch your Bugatti and then detonate it while it's on the way down for pretty much an instant hatch drop. So, funny tactic to keep in mind. In certain areas across multiple maps, there are spots that you can bounce tanks off of walls, and then they're going to land inside of certain objects where the red canister is hidden. You can then plant inside of the tank to hide the diffuser. If someone does find the diffuser, then you can detonate it and it'll drive while going nowhere, and it's going to damage anyone that's around it trying to defuse. It's really annoying and a really funny tactic, so give it a try just in case Ubisoft decides to patch it. You can pre-place tanks on windows that have castle barricades on them and then detonate them while you push from the flank to use the noise as a distraction for the defender, and it also masks your noise while you're approaching from a different spot. This does obviously work on castle doors too, but they might know it's coming since they may see it under the gap in the door. Along with pre-placing them normally on castle windows, you can also use them in a second way on windows by throwing them sideways so that the back is slightly angled outside, and then you'll actually have a horizontal pixel peak underneath of the tank. You're not going to be able to shoot in between the gaps of the tank wheels because of the tank's hitbox, but if you place it correctly, you are going to be able to shoot underneath of the tank altogether if you create the gap in this way shown. Now, my favorite method is this next one, where you can actually use the tanks to make a Make-A-Wish mirror for attackers. There's a million places you can do this, but one of the most broken is anywhere there's a ledge where you can rappel on, because instead of leaning left, right, you can just move left, right. When you're on rappel and you move left, right, it is literally faster than the old quick peek, and people will be dying before they even see you move. This one on Clubhouse for after the CC breach gets opened up is my favorite, and if you do this post plant, it's really funny, but also pretty OP because nobody expects something like this right now. Now, before the next trick, I want to quickly thank Roccat and Turtle Beach for sponsoring this video. They both have really cool new products, like the keyboard I've been using from Roccat called the Vulcan 2 Mini Air. It's a 65% keyboard with Bluetooth, Titan 2 switches, a detachable USB-C cable, and of course, RGB lighting for +10 accuracy. If you're on console, then Turtle Beach has all you need with headsets, controllers, and they even have the really cool Atom controllers for iPhone and Android. Code BRAH is going to get you 10% off all of your Roccat and Turtle Beach items, so if you'd like to check out any of them, I'll have a link down below. Now let's get into the next trick. Up next is a revision of the Legion window trick, because as you know, Legion got a rework in Operation Heavy Metal where they no longer are invisible. There was a bunch of other changes too, but for this one we're just mainly focusing on how can we trap attackers. With them no longer being invisible, this means that we need to get much more sneaky and actually hide them now. One of the best tricks for this is to place them on the outside of windows and then use the debris, because it's literally going to hide it so that's nearly impossible to see. We're trying to make them invisible yet again. You're going to want to try bouncing it off of the ledge of the window, and then it should land far enough outside that you can actually re-barricade and close the window up again. And it's simply going to look like somebody just broke the glass on the outside like a normal prep phase. Once the attacker hits the mine, they have no choice but to go up or down in order to take the goo mine out, which gives you the perfect chance to jump out for an easy kill. Up next is how to do the elevated piano trick that was indirectly patched by Ubisoft last season because they made it so that all potted plants fully break when damaged. And before, you used to have to shoot out part of the plant in order to elevate up high enough, but for some reason you can now simply stand, look where you see my crosshairs, and then get a vault prompt for some crazy off angles in both directions that people are not going to be expecting. Now, instead of a vertical off angle like the last one, this one's going to be a horizontal one that not many people know exists. It's on the back of the black police vehicle on the new console, and if you wedge yourself up against it, you can actually create a nearly one-way pixel all the way to lounge. Another way you can do this is by proning and then looking through the gap under the truck, but it is also easier for defenders to see, but both are still pretty good. Every once in a while, I learn of a really cool angle that's most likely been in the game since the beginning of time, but it's still somehow new to me, so hopefully this is for you too. We're gonna find it over on Clubhouse, and it's an angle that's gonna hit anyone that's coming down blue, so obviously a really high traffic area and lots of potential here. You can shoot out the shelf low and take out attackers' feet, or you can destroy the shelf a little bit higher for headshots, but it is going to leave you slightly more exposed. And definitely make sure your headset isn't on backwards, since you're going to need to be careful of the moto hatch being open behind you. Moving into some spawn peaks, this first one is going to be in the pantry on Emerald Plains, and there's a couple ways to do it. You can simply stand on the left counter and shoot out. My kid is like beating the wall or something. I'm not sure. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm not even gonna redo this section of the voiceover. It's kind of funny. Found like a stick or something. He's fighting his brother in the hall. Okay, anyways, what's really crazy is if you don't break the glass, you can't see through it easily at all as an attacker, so they won't know what's coming. To get an even easier angle, you can look west and then move right around and up to get on the espresso machine and then repeat the same steps earlier. Both cool options, so give it a try before it's patched. Moving upstairs, we have the elevated spot by vaulting on the desk, but then actually popping Warden's glasses because the smoke on the burning truck outside has the same interaction as regular smokes. So Warden can use this to his advantage and see through it, so it's also kind of good to know. Up next is the one spawn peak that's kind of stupid but too cool to not include. Definitely not the most practical, but it is possible, so you gotta see it. After vaulting on the admin desk, you can then push forward onto the files. Once you're slightly elevated, you can then look right and get a vault prompt. Once you vault, you need to look left and you'll be able to land on the top edge of the cubicle, where you can then balance beam walk to the south and see through the fence on the outside. If the attacker chooses to walk west and kind of far back, then you got a chance to land this one. Now, if you watched my pro versus content creator versus sub hide and seek video, then you've seen how you can vault onto the railing by looking at a specific spot on theme park. Now, what didn't cross my mind until Gamer showed me is that you can actually just straight up look over the edge and see anybody running from the teacup spawn. Most people seem to just run next to the default cam, and no matter where they choose to go around that area, you will be able to see them after vaulting up. So go practice standing in the cafe door and then doing a short sprint out and getting a vault prompt as fast as possible, and you're going to be able to surprise a lot of people with this one. Up next is the runout on Outback from motel reception all the way to deep inside of the camping spawn. It's simple, just run out and look between the second and third support beams behind the green van, and you'll have a line of sight through the back of the window of the white vehicle right into the spawn, where attackers choose to run between the RV and the outside bathroom to approach the building. It's actually crazy, and similar to that other spawn peak on Emerald Plains, if you don't shoot out the glass on the back vehicle, it's really hard for attackers to see. Up next, we're going to Villa, where did you know that this vault prompt exists in dining room next to the bomb? You can actually get on top of the blue chests for a really high off angle that most people won't have their crosshairs on, which gives you a huge advantage in the gunfight. You can even see really far back in the pantry. Now jumping over to Canal, we have an updated, most efficient way to precisely nade anybody that's playing on the control room hatch, which is by the extended half-wall cubicle thing that anchors like to play while contesting the new bridge. I'm currently playing on 90 FOV with a 16:9 aspect ratio, so if you have any setting besides that, then use this for a starting reference, go into a custom game, and then you might need to just make some micro adjustments, and you're gonna have a grenade that lands right on the hatch and bounces off of that like half-wall cubicle thing every single time. Now the old way is the way to nade the bomb chassis, and it's the second one right here, and it's been around forever, but since I included that one, if you're curious about the other one, I didn't want you to have to like click off and go search for it, so I'm just including both of the Canal grenades right here. This is a common one for when pillar box gets opened up, defenders like to go and anchor here, and so now you have two go-to grenade lineups for the most common site on Canal, so I hope you find it useful. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Join the official Coconut Brah Discord server linked down below, and I'll see you there. Peace.